Diana was cleaning Suite 909 when her phone rang. She froze for a second, holding the hotel pillow in one hand and her phone in the other. She knew she wasn't supposed to answer personal calls during work hours, but it was her little brother calling from Suriname. He never called unless it was important. She quickly looked around the room. It was empty. The guest hadn't returned yet. She pressed the green button and whispered hello. The voice on the other end spoke fast. It was her brother, sounding worried and excited at the same time. Diana replied in Dutch, her voice still low, but picking up speed as she moved toward the window for better signal. She didn't notice that the door behind her had quietly opened. Someone had just entered the room. She kept talking, switching between Dutch and her local language as she tried to calm her brother down. Something about their grandmother's medicine not being delivered. She promised to send money after a shift. Her words came out soft but sure, like someone used to solving problems, even from far away. Then, a deep voice spoke behind her. "Excuse me, is everything all right?" Diana turned around fast, nearly dropping her phone. Standing in the doorway was a tall, well-dressed man in a navy suit, holding a leather briefcase. He looked important, expensive, definitely not someone she wanted to upset. "I'm so sorry, sir," she said quickly, ending the call and tucking her phone in her apron. "I didn't hear you come in. I'll leave right away." But the man didn't look angry. In fact, he looked curious. "You were speaking Dutch," he said, walking into the room and placing his briefcase on the desk. "Are you from the Netherlands?" Diana stood still for a moment, unsure what to say. She nodded. "Well, yes. I was born in Suriname, but I've lived here since I was 13. The man raised his eyebrows. "Your accent is perfect. Honestly, better than mine." Diana didn't know how to respond. Most guests didn't talk to her unless they needed fresh towels or room service. And definitely not in this friendly tone. "Thank you, sir," she said quietly. "I'm sorry again for the phone call. It won't happen again." He waved his hand like it wasn't a big deal. "No worries. It just surprised me. You don't usually hear hotel staff speaking Dutch so fluently. Most just speak English or basic phrases." She gave a small smile. "I try to keep it fresh." He smiled too, and for a second, there was a strange silence between them. Not awkward, just unexpected. Then he said something even more surprising. "What's your name?" "My name?" Diana repeated, her hands still resting on the pillow she had been fluffing. The man nodded, loosening his tie and sitting down on the edge of the large hotel bed like he owned it, which for the next 2 nights he probably did. "Yes, your name. Unless that's a secret." She gave a small smile, still a little nervous. "It's Diana. Nice to meet you, Diana. I'm Mr. Brenner." He held out his hand, and she hesitated for just a second before shaking it. His grip was firm but friendly. She could smell his cologne, expensive, smooth, like something from a magazine. "So," he said, leaning back slightly, "you grew up in Suriname?" "Yes, sir," she replied, standing straight beside the bed. "I came here with my mother when I was 13. She got sick a few years ago, and I've been working here since to help with her treatment." He nodded slowly, looking at her with interest, not in a creepy way, but like someone who was truly listening. "That's tough," he said. "Most people your age are out partying or wasting time on social media. You're here, cleaning hotel rooms, speaking Dutch like a news anchor." Diana let out a small laugh. "I guess I'm a little different." Mr. Brenner smiled. "Different is good." For a moment, Diana wasn't sure what to do. She didn't want to seem rude, but she also didn't want to be caught standing around chatting during work hours. "I should finish up," she said, reaching for the pillow again. "Your room will be ready in 5 minutes." But he didn't seem in a hurry. "Can I ask you something, Diana?" She stopped and looked at him. "Yes, sir. How many languages do you speak?" She blinked. It was such an odd question. 3. Dutch, Sranan, and English. I learned a little French in school, too." He nodded, clearly impressed. "You know, I've met CEOs who can't even speak proper English," he said with a smirk. "But here you are, working as a maid and speaking 4 languages." Diana didn't know whether to feel flattered or awkward. She wasn't used to compliments, especially not from wealthy guests. "Thank you, sir," she said again. He looked thoughtful for a moment. Then he asked something that made her freeze. "Would you mind coming back later? After your shift? I'd like to ask you a few more things. Not for any weird reason, I just find you interesting. Diana stared at him. No guest had ever asked that before. She wasn't sure what to say, but something about the way he looked at her, calm, respectful, curious, made her nod slowly. Okay, after my shift. Great, he said with a smile. I'll be here. After finishing her shift, Diana felt nervous. The thought of meeting Mr. Brenner again made her heart race. She wasn't used to spending time with guests, especially not ones so different from her life. But she had promised, and she didn't want to back out. The hotel lobby was quiet in the early evening. Soft lights glowed from the chandeliers, and the smell of fresh flowers filled the air. Diana took a deep breath and walked toward the hotel cafe, where Mr. Brenner had said he would wait. She spotted him sitting at a small table near the window, sipping coffee. He looked up and smiled when he saw her. You made it, he said warmly. Yes, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. He gestured to the chair across from him. Please sit. She sat down, her hands folded nervously on the table. Thank you for coming, he said, his eyes kind. I wasn't sure if I should, Diana admitted. I don't usually do things like this. Neither do I, he said with a laugh. But sometimes the unexpected is the best. They talked about small things at first, the city, the weather, the hotel. Then the conversation turned deeper. Why do you work as a maid if you speak so many languages? He asked. Diana looked down, thinking for a moment. It's the only job I could find after school, she said softly. I want to study linguistics, but school is expensive. This job helped me send money to my mother and save for my future. Mr. Brenner nodded, impressed. You're smart and hardworking, he said. Why not try for a scholarship or some program to help you study? Diana shrugged. I've looked, but it's hard to find help when you don't have connections. Maybe I can help, he said without hesitation. She blinked, surprised by his offer. Really? She asked, her voice rising a little. Yes, I believe people with talent and drive should get a chance, he said. You have both. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. Thank you, she finally said. That means a lot. Mr. Brenner smiled and leaned back. Tell me more about your dreams, he said. Diana shared how she wanted to travel, learn languages, and maybe work in international relations one day. She spoke with passion, and for the first time in a long while, she felt hopeful. Their coffee cups emptied, but the conversation didn't stop. Mr. Brenner told her stories about his travels and the people he had met. Diana listened closely, feeling like she was stepping into a different world. When the cafe started to close, he stood up and said, I'm glad we met today. Me too, Diana replied, smiling. Let's keep in touch. I want to see how far you go. As she walked back to her small apartment that night, Diana's mind was full of new possibilities. A simple phone call had turned into something she never expected, a chance to change her life. The next morning, Diana found a small envelope waiting for her at the hotel's staff desk. She almost didn't notice it. So many messages and papers passed by every day, but something about the neat handwriting made her stop. Her heart beat faster as she carefully opened it. Inside was a handwritten note and a business card. The note said, Diana, I believe in your dreams. Call me when you have a moment. Mr. Brenner. The business card had his name, phone number, and the logo of a big investment company in New York. Diana read the note again. She couldn't believe it. Mr. Brenner, the millionaire guest who had surprised her with kindness, wanted her to call him? She looked around. No one was watching. She tucked the card into her apron pocket and tried to focus on her work. All day, she kept thinking about what to say if she called. Was this some kind of test? A trick? Or maybe a real chance? When her shift finally ended, she found a quiet corner near the hotel lobby and dialed the number. Her fingers shook as the phone rang. Hello, a calm voice answered. Hi, this is Diana, she said quickly. You left a note for me. Yes, he replied warmly. I'm glad you called. Do you have time to meet? She hesitated but then said, Yes, I'm free now. They agreed to meet at a nearby cafe, the same place where they talked before. When she arrived, Mr. Brenner was already there, looking relaxed and smiling. Welcome back, he said. Thank you, she said, sitting down. He reached into his briefcase and pulled out some papers. I want to help you apply for a scholarship, he explained. This is an application for a program in linguistics at a university in Amsterdam. It's competitive, but I'll write a recommendation for you. Diana's eyes widened. You would do that for me? Of course, he said. You're smart, hardworking, and honest. Those are the qualities we need more of. She looked down, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. I don't know what to say. Say you'll try your best, he said. That's all anyone can ask. Over the next hour, he helped her fill out the application form. He asked about her goals, her background, and what she wanted to do in the future. Diana found herself opening up more than she expected. It felt strange but good. When they finished, Mr. Brenner smiled and said, I'll send this for you tomorrow. Now, you just focus on preparing for the next steps. She thanked him again, feeling a little overwhelmed but hopeful. Walking back to the hotel, Diana thought about how much had changed in just a few days. A simple phone call, a brief conversation, a surprising offer. Maybe, just maybe, this was the beginning of something new. Diana couldn't stop thinking about the scholarship application Mr. Brenner had helped her with. She had never imagined someone like him would take interest in her future, a simple hotel made with big dreams. But as the excitement grew, so did her doubts. Could she really get into the university? Would she be able to keep up with the classes? And what if she failed? She sat on her small bed that evening, staring at the application papers spread out before her. The questions about her goals and past felt heavier now. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Mr. Brenner. How are you feeling? Remember, it's okay to be nervous. You're stronger than you think. Diana smiled. His words made her feel a little less alone. The next morning at work, she tried to focus. But her mind kept drifting to what life would be like as a student. Waking up early, studying late, meeting new people. She worried about money, too. School books and tuition were expensive, and her mother's health was still fragile. She pushed those worries aside and finished cleaning the suite. As she placed fresh towels on the rack, a hotel manager walked in. Diana, can I have a word? He said kindly. Her heart skipped. Was this about the phone call she answered yesterday? Was she in trouble? They stepped into the hallway. I heard from some guests that you speak Dutch very well, he said, and they've noticed your attention to detail. You're a good worker. Diana blinked, surprised. Thank you, sir, she said quietly. I wanted to ask if you'd like to help train new staff in language skills. It's part-time, and it comes with a small raise. She stared at him, unable to believe what she was hearing. Me? Train others. He smiled. Yes, you have something special, and we want to support you. Diana felt a warm rush of pride. I'd love to, she said. Later that day, she texted Mr. Brenner about the new job. His reply was quick. That's amazing, Diana. I'm proud of you. But even with this support, she felt pressure. Was she stretching herself too thin? Could she balance work, study, and family? That night, she called her mother. I'm scared, she admitted softly. Her mother's voice was strong and calm. You're brave, my daughter. I believe in you. Take it one day at a time. Diana wiped her eyes and promised herself she would try. She wasn't just cleaning hotel rooms anymore. She was fighting for a future she once thought impossible. And with every doubt she faced, she found a little more courage. Diana woke up early, feeling the weight of the day ahead. Today was important. Not just another day cleaning rooms or folding towels. Today, she was going to start training new hotel staff in language skills. She dressed carefully, putting on her uniform and smoothing her hair. As she walked through the quiet halls of the hotel, her heart beat fast. This new role felt like a small step toward the future she dreamed about. When she arrived at the training room, a group of fresh-faced new employees waited. Some looked nervous, others curious. Diana cleared her throat and smiled. Good morning, she said in Dutch, surprising a few. I'm Diana, and today I'll help you learn how to speak better Dutch and English for your work here. She noticed some faces light up. Others looked doubtful, but she kept going, sharing simple tips and practicing common phrases with them. She explained how clear language could help them understand guests better, and maybe even open doors for their own futures. During a break, Mr. Brenner appeared in the hallway, holding 2 cups of coffee. Thought you might need this, he said, handing one to her. Thank you, Diana said, surprised but happy to see him. He smiled. How's the new job? Challenging, she admitted. But I like it. He nodded. Good. Keep pushing yourself. Change takes work. She took a deep breath. I'm also nervous about the scholarship. What if I don't get in? You'll get in, he said firmly. You deserve this. Don't let fear hold you back. Diana smiled, feeling encouraged. Back in the training room, she noticed how teaching others made her feel stronger. Sharing her knowledge, helping others improve, it gave her confidence she hadn't expected. After work, she went home to prepare for the next step, the university interview. She spent hours practicing answers to questions like, why do you want to study linguistics? And how will this degree help you? She wrote notes, read books, and watch videos online. Still, doubts crept in. What if she stumbled over her words? What if they thought she wasn't good enough? One evening, she shared her fears with a close friend. Diana, her friend, said kindly, you're stronger than you think. Remember the day you spoke Dutch with Mr. Brenner? You've already come so far. Those words stayed with her. The day of the interview arrived quickly. Diana dressed carefully, her heart pounding. She walked into the university building, remembering all the work she'd done to get here. The interviewer greeted her warmly. As they talked, Diana found herself relaxing. She spoke honestly about her past, her dreams, and her hopes for the future. When the interview ended, she left feeling proud. No matter what happened, she knew she had given her best. Walking back through the busy streets of Amsterdam, Diana thought about how much her life had changed since that unexpected phone call. From a simple hotel room, talking to a millionaire who believed in her, to standing on the edge of a new adventure, her future was waiting. Diana sat by the window of her small apartment, staring out but not really seeing. It had been 2 weeks since her university interview, and she still hadn't heard back. Every day felt longer than the last. She checked her phone constantly, hoping for a message or email. Mr. Brenner had told her to be patient, but waiting was the hardest part. At work, she tried to stay busy. She continued training new staff and helping guests when she could. But her mind kept drifting back to the scholarship. One afternoon, a colleague noticed. You seem worried, Diana, she said kindly. Is everything okay? Diana hesitated, but then nodded. I'm just waiting for some news, she said quietly. Her colleague smiled. Sometimes, waiting means good things are coming. Don't lose hope. Those words helped, but the uncertainty stayed. One evening, while cleaning a guest's room, Diana's phone buzzed. Her heart jumped. It was a message from an unknown number. She opened it slowly. Diana, congratulations. You have been accepted into the linguistics program at Amsterdam University. Welcome. She read the message twice, afraid it wasn't real. Tears filled her eyes. She called Mr. Brenner immediately. Hello, he answered after a few rings. Mr. Brenner, I got in, she said, her voice shaking with joy. That's fantastic news, he said. I knew you could do it. They talked for a while, making plans for the future. Mr. Brenner promised to help with anything she needed. The next days were a whirlwind of emotions. Diana told her mother the good news, who cried with happiness. She bought books, school supplies, and even a small laptop with the money she had saved. At the hotel, her coworkers congratulated her. Some even said they were inspired by her hard work. But not everything was easy. Balancing her job and preparing for classes was tiring. Sometimes she stayed up late, studying after a long day. There were moments when she wanted to give up, when the pressure felt too much. But each time, she remembered why she started. Her dreams were bigger than her fears. One evening, Mr. Brenner invited her to a small celebration at a quiet restaurant. Over dinner, they talked about the challenges ahead. You're ready for this, Diana, he said. And remember, you're not alone. She smiled, feeling grateful. The path ahead was still uncertain, but she was no longer afraid. She had hope, support, and the strength to keep moving forward. And that was enough. Diana woke up early on the first day of her university classes. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness buzzing in her chest. She packed her bag carefully, books, notebooks, and her favorite pen. Walking through the busy streets of Amsterdam, she couldn't help but smile. This was the moment she had dreamed of for so long. At the university, the halls were full of students talking and laughing. Diana found her classroom and took a seat near the window. The professor began the class, speaking about language and culture. Diana listened closely, feeling like she belonged. After class, she met other students. Some were from different countries, others spoke different languages. Diana felt a connection with them all. Later that day, she called Mr. Brenner. "How's your first day?" he asked. "Busy but good," she said. "I'm learning a lot already." "That's great to hear," he said. "Remember, every step forward is progress." Weeks passed, and Diana's days filled with study, work, and small moments of joy. She trained new hotel staff in the mornings, attended classes in the afternoons, and spent evenings helping her mother. It was not easy, but she was determined. One afternoon, after a long day, she sat in the park and thought about how far she had come. From answering a call in Dutch at work to walking the halls of university, her life had changed in ways she never imagined. She thought about the millionaires and strangers who had helped her. But most of all, she thought about herself. The girl who never gave up, even when things were hard. The girl who believed in her dreams. Mr. Brenner's words echoed in her mind. "You're not alone." And she wasn't. Diana smiled, ready for whatever came next. Because this was only the beginning.